wasn't the water that broke me. It was the look in his eyes right before we went over.
That moment of pure, cold intent changed everything.
The river just ripped me from the seat. I was tumbling, airless, in the dark. Then a blinding flash of pain. I finally came to, coughing up mud. My body felt like it had been through a war. I was barely holding on to a root, just trying to breathe. I kept looking for Liam in the water.
Was he gone? Had he made it out? But that look in his eyes kept coming back to me.
I finally dragged myself onto the bank. The cold was getting into my bones. I just lay there, shivering, feeling completely alone. That first night was just pure misery. Every little sound in the woods made me jump. I couldn't stop thinking about what Liam had done. I had to go back to the river for water. It was gritty and tasted like mud, but I needed it. I just kept looking for a way out of this. Then I saw it, wedged in the branches. It was Liam's pouch. My hands were shaking so hard when I grabbed it. I opened it up back at my shelter. There was the will, and then this note.
He was in so much debt, it was terrified.
Then I found the deed. It was a perfect forgery. Except for one thing. The watermark was missing, and that's when I knew. The betrayal hits me harder than the flood ever did.
My grief turns into a cold, white-hot rage.
He wasn't just in debt. He was trying to steal my family's land. These papers are my weapons now. The forest isn't just a prison anymore. It's a testing ground for my survival. I'm not just fighting for me. I'm fighting for my family's history. Every day is a battle against the elements. My arm is killing me, but I've got to keep moving. I made a sling out of my clothes to help with the pain. I'm not just hiding anymore. I'm looking for a way out. I'm following the water, hoping it leads to a trail. Every step is a risk, but I have to keep going. I'm learning to find food in the wild again. A small fire is the only comfort I have. Boiling water is a tiny victory against this cold. The silence is the worst part. I keep talking to myself to stay sane. I'm rehearsing what I'm going to say to Liam. I've found a path. It's barely visible, but it's definitely a trail. I think this is my way out. The path is rough, but I'm not stopping. I'm so weak, but I've got this new energy. I recognize this trail from when I was a kid. Wait, do I hear an engine? I'm almost there. I can see the road. There's a truck coming up the mountain. Help! Please, help me! They're stopping. They see me. I must look like a ghost then. They rushed to me, their faces full of shock. I tried to tell them everything, but my voice was just too weak. I pressed the pouch into Sarah's hands and whispered the truth before passing out. I woke up in a hospital bed, the smell of antiseptic everywhere. My family was there, looking so worried. Aunt Evelyn sat by my side, her eyes still sharp. My mom held my hand and told me they thought I was God. I asked about Liam, my voice barely a whisper. My dad said he was alive and telling everyone he tried to save me. I felt a cold dread in my stomach. He was already spinning his lies. Sarah told me the pouch was safe with the sheriff. So Liam walked in looking all sad and bandaged up. He rushed to my bed and tried to grab my hand.
He sounded so sincere when he said he tried to save me.
I saw right through his act. I told him not to touch me. My family looked confused, but I was ready to end this. He tried to tell the sheriff I was just delirious. The sheriff held up the pouch and told him the truth. Yeah, Liam's face went totally pale when he realized he was caught. I laid it all out for him. I mentioned the missing watermark, and he totally lost it. He looked like a cornered animal and started begging for mercy.
I asked him if all those choices were just accidents.
He didn't have an answer for me.
The sheriff arrested him right there.
I finally went back to the land. It felt different, like it had been cleansed by the truth. I'm stronger now, and I'm finally ready to move on. Physical therapy has been a long, slow climb back. Every session is a reminder of the strength I lost. My arm still aches, but the progress is undeniable. My family has been my rock through this whole nightmare. They rally around me with a fierce, protective love.
I see the worry in my mom's eyes, but also a new pride.
The legal proceedings were a long, messy affair. Every court date felt like a fresh wound. I needed to see the truth finally laid bare. The evidence from the pouch was the final nail. The forged deed and contracts were undeniable proof. Seeing his reputation crumble was a strange, hollow victory. Liam was convicted and sentenced for his crimes. No amount of prison could undo the damage. I didn't feel joy, just a profound sense of closure. Returning to the family land felt like coming home. The forest was still wild, but the echoes were fading. I walked the trails, feeling a deep connection to the earth. The wild almost took my life, but it stripped away my blindfolds. I stood stronger, wiser, and forever changed. I was no longer the woman who had left for that trip. Sometimes the wild reveals truths buried deep. I think about the hidden currents I had to confront. It's a lesson I'll carry with me forever. What hidden currents might you confront if survival depended on it? It's a question that haunts me, but it also empowers me. We are all capable of more than we think. The river keeps flowing, indifferent to our struggles. But I am here, standing on its bank, alive and whole. The future is mine to shape, and I'm ready. Looking at the river now, it's hard to believe it was once so destructive. The water is calm, but I still remember the chaos. This locket survived everything, just like me. It's a small piece of my history that stayed behind. The land is finally starting to heal itself. I see new green shoots pushing through the mud. Aunt Evelyn has been my rock through all of this. I can't wait to tell her that we're finally safe. I'm not running from anything anymore. I'm finally moving forward into my own future. I love listening to the sounds of the forest. It's a reminder that life always finds a way. This is where I found the pouch that changed everything. I'm leaving a stone here to mark how far I've come. The sunset is beautiful today. I finally feel a sense of peace. I'm ready to finish the walk home now. Whatever tomorrow brings, I know I can handle it.
The river keeps flowing, but I'm still here.
I'm ready for whatever comes next. I finally reached the old stone gate. It feels like a threshold between my nightmare and the life I'm reclaiming. I run my fingers over the weathered stone, feeling my family's history. The cabin comes into view, looking just as sturdy as it did when I was a child. Smoke curls from the chimney, a sign that Aunt Evelyn is inside. My heart swells with relief and anticipation as I take those final steps. I push open the heavy wooden door. The interior is bathed in the golden glow of a crackling fire. Evelyn is sitting in her chair, her eyes bright as she looks up. She doesn't say a word, just stares at me with love. She slowly rises and opens her arms wide. I collapse into her embrace, finally letting it all out. We sit by the fire for hours. I tell her everything about the betrayal and the long days in the woods. She listens, her hand resting firmly on mine. The next morning, the air is crisp and clear. I walk out onto the porch, looking over the land. It's still scarred, but it's ours, and I finally feel like I belong.
I pull the waterproof pouch from my pocket.
The documents inside are no longer just evidence. They're the foundation of my future. I know what I have to do next, and I'm not afraid.
Evelyn joins me on the porch, a warm blanket over her shoulders.
She stands beside me, watching the sunrise. Her presence is a quiet strength that reminds me I'm not alone.
I take a deep breath, the scent of pine filling my senses. The past is a heavy weight, but I'm ready to set it down.
I look at the land and know this is where I belong. The sun climbs higher, bathing the forest in golden light. I turn back toward the cabin, ready to start my life again. I am no longer just a survivor. I am home. I'm sitting at the kitchen table, just staring at that forged deed. My fingers are tracing the paper, searching for that missing watermark. The cabin is so quiet, and for once I finally feel at peace. Aunt Evelyn leans in close to get a better look at the paper. She points right at the signature, knowing it's a total fake. We just share a look, and we both know the ugly truth. I'm carefully packing the documents back into the pouch. This pouch is my armor now. It's my proof. I stand up, ready to face whatever comes next. Evelyn hands me a heavy wool coat. She looks at me with so much pride. But I can see the concern, too. I pull the coat on, feeling ready for this. I step out into the crisp mountain air. The forest is so quiet, and the sun is just starting to rise. I take a deep breath and start my walk. The path feels different now, like the land itself is watching me. I walk with purpose, scanning the terrain. Every step reminds me of the strength I've found. I finally reach the edge of the forest. The paved road comes into view. It feels like a victory. I look back at the forest, a silent thank you. I start walking down the road. I don't know what happens next, but I'm ready for it. The past is fueling me now.
A car approaches in the distance.
I wave my arm. My heart is pounding. This is the moment I've been working toward. The car slows down and pulls over. The driver looks at me with so much confusion. I take a deep breath, ready to tell my story. The sheriff stepped out, looking at me with real concern. I couldn't find the words, but I knew what I had to do. I pressed the pouch into his hand, finally letting go. The ride to the hospital was just a blur of lights. I watched the mountains go by, feeling like a ghost. Every bump hurt, but I didn't care. I was finally safe. I woke up in a room that felt way too bright. My family was there, looking like they'd seen a ghost. Aunt Evelyn held my hand, and it kept me grounded. When they told me Liam was alive, my stomach just dropped. He was already out there, playing the grieving husband. I knew right then that the real fight was just starting. Liam walked in, looking like he was about to cry. He reached for my hand, but I didn't let him touch me. I was ready to tear down every single lie he told. He tried to act like a hero, but he couldn't hide his panic. I just kept talking, letting the truth come out. When the sheriff held up that pouch, Liam just went pale. I told them everything about the forgery and the debts. His whole act just fell apart right in front of us. He finally admitted it, his voice just a whisper. They took him away in cuffs, and I just watched. He was just a shell of the man I thought I knew. I felt a quiet peace, like I could finally breathe again. I came back to the land, even with all the scars. Walking these trails, I felt more connected than ever. The land was finally clean, and I was ready to move on. I stood by the river, watching the water flow by. I'm wiser now, and I know I can handle anything. Whatever comes next, I'm ready for it. I traced the path of the river with my eyes. It looks so calm now, almost mocking in its serenity. My survival wasn't just luck. It was a testament to my resilience. I reach into my pocket and pull out the silver locket. It's the only thing I have left from my mother. Holding it, I feel a surge of warmth. The wind picks up, rustling the leaves of the oaks. I listen to the sound, a familiar, grounding rhythm. It's as if the forest is offering a silent, ancient comfort. I start walking back toward the main trail. Every movement is a reminder of the pain I endured. I am not the same person who entered these woods. I pass the spot where I found the pouch. It feels like a lifetime ago. Yet the memory is sharp. I leave the past behind, focusing on the path ahead. The sun begins to set, casting long shadows. The light is golden and warm. It feels like a new beginning. I reach the edge of the forest. I take a deep breath. The air is crisp and clean. The world feels vast and full of possibilities. I look back one last time at the forest. It's a part of me now, a chapter I'll never forget. I turn and start walking toward home. The road ahead is long, but I am ready. I have my family, my legacy, and the truth. That is more than enough to carry me through. Sometimes the wild holds the power to reveal truths. What hidden currents might you confront? The journey is just beginning. I stand here looking over the hills that have been in my family for generations. The air is crisp and clean, so different from the mud I was trapped in. It feels good knowing this land is finally safe from him. Aunt Evelyn meets me on the porch, her eyes as sharp as ever. She doesn't say a word, just pulls me into a long, steady embrace. We both know the cost of the truth, but it was worth the fight. Inside the cabin, the fire crackles in the hearth. I sit by the window, watching the twilight settle over the valley. It's a quiet moment. Let the adrenaline fade and the healing begin. I lay the documents out on the wooden table one last time. They look so small now, just ink on paper. I watch as the firelight catches the edges of the forged deed. I think about Liam, sitting in a cold, sterile cell. There's no anger left, just a hollow sadness for the man he could have been. He chose a path of greed, and now he has to live with it. My mother walks in, carrying 2 mugs of tea. She doesn't ask about the papers. She just sits beside me. We sit in silence, the only sound the crackling fire. The forest gave me back a part of myself I thought I'd lost. The resilience and strength were always there, buried deep. I'm ready to move forward and build a future that's truly mine. The next morning, I walk out to the edge of the property again. The sun is rising over the mountains, and the world feels new. I take a deep breath and know I can handle whatever comes next. I look down at my hands, the scars a testament to the journey. They are the hands of a survivor, of a woman who knows her worth. I am home, and I am finally, truly free. Sometimes the wild holds the power to reveal truths buried deep. What hidden currents might you confront if survival depended on it? The journey is just beginning, and I'm ready to walk it. I stand here looking over the hills that have been in my family for generations. The air is crisp and clean, a total change from that muddy riverbank. It's a huge relief knowing this land is finally safe from Liam. Aunt Evelyn meets me on the porch without saying a word. She just pulls me into a long, steady hug that says everything. We both know the truth cost us a lot, but it was worth the fight. Inside the cabin, the fire is crackling and casting long shadows. I'm just sitting by the window, watching the twilight settle over the valley. It's a quiet moment to let the adrenaline fade and start healing. I lay the documents out on the table one last time. They look so small now,
just ink on paper. But they almost destroyed everything.
The firelight hits the forged deed, and I can finally see that missing watermark. I think about Liam, sitting in that cold cell, his lies finally catching up to him. There's no anger left, just a hollow sadness for the man he could have been.
He chose greed, and now he's got to live with it.
My mom walks in with 2 mugs of tea, looking at me with so much concern. She doesn't ask about the papers. She just sits down right next to me. We sit in silence for a long time, just listening to the fire and the wind. I realize the forest didn't just test me. It gave me back a part of myself.
The strength and resilience were always there, just buried deep.
I'm finally ready to move forward and build a future that's actually mine. The next morning, I head back out to the edge of the property as the sun comes up. Everything feels new and full of promise today. I take a deep breath, and I know I can handle whatever comes next. I look at my hands, seeing the scars and the dirt from everything I've been through. These are the hands of a survivor who knows her own worth. I'm finally home, and I'm truly free. Sometimes the wild doesn't just break you. It reveals truths buried deep. What would you do if your survival depended on it? The journey is just starting, and I'm ready to walk it. I find myself back at the riverbank. The water's calmer now, but the wreckage is still everywhere. It's hard to believe I survived this. This is where the truck went over. The ground is still torn up from the impact. Looking at it now, I don't feel like a victim anymore. I found a piece of the truck's trim. It's cold and hard in my hand. This little thing changed everything. The forest is so quiet now. It's hard to believe this place was once a raging torrent. The silence is almost heavy. This tree survived the flood too. It's still standing, even with all this damage. I guess we're both survivors. The light through the trees is beautiful. It's a reminder that life keeps going. I really think I can rebuild. This water is so clear. It feels good to wash my face. I'm washing away the last of the fear. I'm ready to go now. I've learned so much in this place. I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. I'm finally walking away. The forest doesn't feel so scary anymore. I'm looking forward to what's next. One last look back. The river is still there, but it can't hurt me anymore. I'm finally free. I finally made it to the edge of the woods. The air feels different out here, like I can finally breathe again. I take one last look back at the path, realizing I'm actually gonna make it. Then I hear it, the sound of an engine coming up the road. My heart starts pounding, and I know I have to flag him down. I step out onto the pavement and start waving my arm as hard as I can. The truck slows down and finally pulls over. 2 rangers get out, and they look absolutely stunned to see me. I must look like a ghost, all covered in mud and bruises. Sarah, she's a local. She runs right over to me. She's calling my name, and I can see the horror in her eyes. I try to tell her about Liam, but my voice is just gone. I can't hold it together anymore. And I just collapse into their arms. Everything starts spinning, but I make sure to press the pouch into Sarah's hand. I whisper to her that it's the truth, and then everything goes black. I wake up in a hospital room, and it's so bright and clean. My whole body is covered in bandages, and I feel so weak. My family is all there, and they look so relieved to see me awake. My mom is holding my hand, and she's crying. So I ask about Liam, and my dad's face just goes cold. He tells me Liam's alive, and he's already telling everyone I was the one who needed saving. I ask Sarah if they found the pouch. She says it's safe with the sheriff, and I feel a mix of relief and pure rage. He's out there playing the grieving husband, but he has no idea what's coming. So Liam walks into the room and he looks like he's been through hell. He rushes over to my bed, acting like he's so relieved I'm alive. His voice is shaking, and he's trying to play the part of the grieving husband. I pull my hand away and tell him not to touch me. He looks so hurt, but I can see the mask slipping. He tries to turn it on the sheriff, but he doesn't know what's coming. The sheriff held up the pouch, and I saw the color drain. The sheriff held up the pouch, and I saw the color drain from Liam's face. He looked like he'd seen a ghost, his confidence completely shattering in an instant. I started listing everything he'd tried to hide. I told him I knew about the forged deed and the loan shark contracts. I made sure he knew I'd spotted the missing watermark on the paper. He looked like a cornered animal, staring at me in total shock. He started begging, saying it was all just a huge mistake. He kept swearing the flood was just a freak accident. I called him out on everything, from the weather warnings to that shortcut. I told him he'd gambled with my life just to pay off his debts. My family was just standing there, finally seeing the truth. He finally gave up, his shoulders just slumping down. He admitted he lost everything and was just desperate. For the first time, I saw he was only worried about himself. The sheriff told him it was time to go. He didn't even try to fight it as they let him out. He looked at me one last time, but I didn't give him anything. Getting better took a long time, but my family was right there with me. They were so protective, and I knew they finally understood what I'd been through. The court case was a total mess, but the evidence was solid. So Liam ended up behind bars, and everything he'd built just fell apart. I finally went back to the land, and it felt like it had been cleansed. Walking those trails again, I realized how much I'd learned from everything. The wild almost killed me, but it also opened my eyes. I'm stronger now, and I'm ready for whatever happens next. Standing here by the spring, it feels like the land itself is finally breathing again. It's survived so much, just like I have. My grandfather built this wall with his own 2 hands. It's seen a lot of history, and it's not going anywhere. The sun's finally setting on all that darkness. I'm ready for whatever comes next. I didn't even know this place was still standing. It's gonna take some work, but it's a start. It's quiet out here, but it's a good kind of quiet. I'm finally home, one step at a time. That's how you get things done. I'm not rushing, just making progress. What did this open, I wonder? Maybe it's a piece of the puzzle I'm still missing. It actually fits. Let's see what's inside. These journals, they've been waiting for me. I can't wait to see what's written in here. It's like they're speaking to me from the past. I'm finally understanding who I am. I'm finally reading the words my great-grandmother wrote down. It's like she's talking to me from across the years. Every page tells me more about why this land matters. They really protected this spring like it was sacred. It wasn't just land to them. It was a trust. Liam didn't just try to steal property. He tried to break a promise. Looking out at these trees, I see them differently now. They've seen so much history, and now I'm part of it. I've got to make sure this place stays protected. This pouch is heavy, but it's my only way forward. Everything I need to prove what he did is right here. It's time to make sure the truth comes out. I'm leaving the cabin now, heading back to the trail. I've got a long walk ahead, but I'm ready for it. Finally, I'm the one in control of what happens next. The woods feel different when you've got a mission. Every sound just feels like I'm getting closer. I'm not just surviving anymore. I'm fighting back. There it is. The road back to everything.
I'm feeling a lot of things right now, but mostly relief.
Whatever happens next, I'm ready for it. I'm just going to keep walking until I find some water.
I've got a story to tell, and I'm not stopping. I'm finally going to make things right.
Wait, do you hear that? An engine!
It's getting louder. It's definitely a car.
I've got to get to them. This is my chance.
Over here. Please, stop.
They see me. They're slowing down.
I'm finally safe, and the truth is going to come out.
I finally collapsed into their arms. I pressed the pouch into Sarah's hands.
I tried to tell them the truth.
I woke up in a hospital bed. My family was all there. Aunt Evelyn sat right by my side. They told me Liam was alive.
He said I tried to save him.
I knew he was lying.
Sarah said the pouch was safe.
The sheriff had it now.
I was finally gonna get my chance. Liam walked into the room. He looked so sad and hurt.
He tried to reach for my hand.
I pulled my hand away.
I told him I knew what he did.
He tried to say I was crazy. The sheriff held up the pouch. Liam's face went completely white.
He knew he was caught.
I told them about the forged deed.
I mentioned the missing watermark. He started begging me to stop. They took him away in handcuffs. He looked back at me one last time. I didn't feel anything for him anymore. I finally went back to the land. It felt different now. I was stronger than I ever was before. Standing here, looking out over the valley, everything feels different. The land is scarred, but it's still strong. I'm finally ready to reclaim what's mine. Walking these trails again feels like coming home. Every step is a reminder of where I've been. I'm finally finding a sense of peace. The old cabin is still standing. It's seen so much history. This is where I'll start my new life. It's so quiet in here. Every corner is filled with memories. I can finally just breathe. I found these old family papers. They tell the story of who we are.
I have to make sure this legacy is protected.
Reading these letters is so humbling. They went through so much for us.
I really want to honor their memory.
The sunset is beautiful tonight. Everything is so quiet and peaceful. I'm ready for whatever comes next. The fire feels so good. It's a small comfort, but it means a lot. I'm finally at peace. This locket is a reminder of my family. It gives me so much strength. I'm proud to carry our story forward. I'm so tired, but it's a good kind of tired. Tomorrow is a new day. I'm finally home. The morning light hits the cabin floor. I'm looking at the old family map. It's a heavy weight to carry. I hold the locket tight. It's been in my family for generations. I'm finding my strength again. The air is cold out here. The forest is still recovering. I need to go back to the river. The ground is still really soft. I'm moving slow because of my arm. I'm looking for anything that's left. The river is still moving fast. It's hard to see all this damage. He really thought he could end it here. Wait, what's that over there? It's the pouch. It's actually here. My hands are shaking so much. It's still sealed shut, and I can feel the weight of it. This is the proof I need. I need to get back to the trees. I'm finally gonna see what's inside. Here goes nothing. Oh my God, it's all here. He was planning this the whole time. This is so much worse than I thought. The watermark is missing. He thought he could fool us. I'm gonna make sure he pays for this. The betrayal hits me harder than any rock or branch ever could. Liam wasn't just in debt. He was trying to steal my family's legacy. My grief turned into a white-hot rage. I'm not just surviving this wilderness, I'm going to expose him. The next few days were a total grind.
I made a sling out of my own clothes to keep my arm steady.
I started searching for a way out, for any sign of people. I followed the smaller streams, hoping they'd lead me to a trail. I had to get smart about finding food. I remembered my grandpa's lessons on how to build a small fire. Silence of the woods was driving me crazy. I kept talking to myself, rehearsing exactly what I'd say to him. Then I found it. An old, overgrown path hidden in the weeds. The trail was rough, but I kept pushing. I knew I was getting closer to civilization. Then I heard it. The sound of an engine. I screamed for help, waving my arm as hard as I could. That truck stopped, and I saw the rangers staring at me in total shock. I tried to tell them everything. I just wanted them to know the truth. Then the world just went black. I woke up in a room that felt too bright. My family was there, looking like they'd seen a ghost. I could feel their worry in the air. They found him alive. He's telling everyone he tried to save me. I knew he was lying. The sheriff has the pouch now. That's where the truth is hidden. I'm gonna make him answer for everything. He walked in looking like a grieving husband. He tried to take my hand. I could see the act he was putting on. I told him I knew the truth. He tried to say I was just confused. He was still trying to play the victim. The sheriff held up the pouch. Liam's face went completely white. I told them about the missing watermark. He started begging for mercy. He said it was all a mistake. I didn't feel a thing for him anymore. They took him away in handcuffs. He didn't even try to fight it. My family was finally there for me. I finally went back to the land. It felt different now, like it was finally mine again. I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. I look out over the land that's been in my family for generations. It's still scarred from the flood, but it's finally mine to protect. Walking these trails feels like reclaiming everything he tried to steal. The trees seem to whisper stories of the past. This spring is the heart of our family's history. It's still clear and cold, even after everything. The silence here doesn't feel heavy anymore. It feels like a sanctuary. I used to think the river would be my end, but it didn't break me. It just showed me how strong I really am. The path ahead is uncertain, but I'm not afraid. I'm ready to walk back into the world, changed but whole. The hardest journeys are the ones that lead us back to ourselves. Survival isn't just about breathing. It's about living with purpose. I look back at the river one last time. It's just water now, a part of the land I love. The forest feels welcoming now. I'm finally home, and I'm at peace. What hidden currents might you confront if survival depended on it? I'm ready to face whatever the future holds. I stand at the edge of the property, looking back at the path I traveled. The memories of the flood are still vivid, but they no longer hold the same paralyzing grip on my spirit. I realized that my journey wasn't just about escaping the water, but about finding the truth buried beneath the surface. The land itself seems to breathe, a living testament to the generations that came before me. I touch the rough bark of an ancient oak, feeling a connection that transcends the recent chaos. This place is my anchor, and I am finally ready to be its steward. I think about Aunt Evelyn, waiting for me back at the cabin. She's a tough woman, and I know she'll be proud of how I handled this. We have so much to talk about, so much history to preserve together. The betrayal still stings, but it's a dull ache now, not a sharp blade. Liam is behind bars, and the truth is out in the open. I've learned that trust is something you earn, not something you give away blindly.
I looked down at my hands, still slightly calloused and stained from the forest.
They've been through so much, but they're stronger for it.
I'm not the same woman who left for that trip, and I'm grateful for that.
The wind picks up, rustling the leaves around me. It's a familiar sound, one that used to make me nervous, but now it just feels like a conversation.
The forest is talking, and for the first time, I'm really listening.
I start walking again, my pace steady and sure. The path is long, but I know where I'm going. I'm heading home, not just to a place, but to a version of myself I can finally be proud of.
The sun begins to set, casting long, golden shadows across the land.
It's a beautiful sight, a reminder that every day brings a new beginning.
I'm ready for whatever tomorrow brings.
I reach the edge of the woods, the familiar silhouette of the cabin coming into view. It's been a long journey, but I'm finally here. I take one last look at the forest, a silent thank you for the lessons it taught me. Sometimes the wild holds not just the power to break you, but to reveal truths buried deeper than any riverbed. What hidden currents might you confront if survival depended on it? I walk toward the cabin, ready to start the next chapter of my life. I step onto the porch, the wood creaking like a familiar greeting. The air here is crisp and clean, so different from the riverbank. I just stand there for a moment, letting the mountain silence wash over me. Aunt Evelyn opens the door, her face full of worry. She doesn't say anything, just pulls me into a tight hug. I finally let go, knowing I'm safe now. The cabin is so warm, smelling like wood smoke and old books. We sit by the fire, watching the flames dance. I start telling her everything, the words just pouring out. Evelyn listens, her face going from shock to pure anger. She doesn't say a word, just grips her teacup tight. She knows exactly what this land means to our family. I put the pouch on the table between us. It looks so small, but it holds all the proof. Evelyn touches the worn fabric, acknowledging everything I've been through. We spent the whole night going through the papers. Every lie and every forgery is laid out right there. It hurts, but we have to do this. Take our history back. By morning, the fire's just embers, but we're ready. We have everything we need to stop him for good. I finally feel at peace, knowing the truth is out. I step outside as the sun starts to rise. The forest looks so different today, like a sanctuary. I take a deep breath, just happy to be alive and home. I walk into the meadow, the grass still wet with dew. I'm not running from anything anymore. I'm walking toward a future that's finally mine. The wild has secrets, but it also gives you strength. I've learned that the hardest currents are the ones inside us. I'm ready to start again, stronger than I ever thought. The sheriff finally arrived at the cabin. He took the pouch from Sarah, looking it over carefully. I watched him, hoping these papers would be enough to stop Liam. The sheriff confirmed the documents were real. He said they found Liam, but he's already lying to everyone. It makes me so angry to think of him playing the hero. I told him I had to face him myself. My family was worried, but they knew I was serious. The drive to the hospital was completely silent. I walked into the room where Liam was waiting. He looked hurt, but he still had that fake smile. He tried to grab my hand, but I pulled away fast. He started acting like the grieving husband again. It was honestly sickening to watch him lie to my face. I just waited for the right moment to stop him. I called him out on the shortcut and what he said. For a second, I saw the real him behind the mask. He tried to say I was crazy, but the sheriff stepped in. The sheriff showed him the pouch, and he went pale. I told him I knew about the forged deed and the debts. I watched him fall apart right in front of me.
He started begging, saying it was all a mistake.
He sounded so pathetic, just a hollow shell of a man.
I didn't feel a thing as they took him away.
I finally went back to the land months later. It felt different now, like it had been washed clean. I'm stronger now, and I'm finally at peace. The wild taught me so much about my own strength. I'm ready to start over here, on my own terms. Whatever comes next, I know I can handle it. Standing here, it's like the land itself is breathing.
The spring is still clear, despite everything that's happened.
It's a reminder of what's worth fighting for. This piece of paper holds our history.
It's fragile, but it's the truth.
My grandfather would be proud I kept it safe.
Aunt Evelyn's place always feels like home. She doesn't ask questions. She just knows. It's good to be back where I belong. The forest is healing. Just like me. You can still see the damage, but life finds a way. It's a slow process, but it's happening.
The river's quiet now, almost peaceful. It's hard to believe it was ever that violent.
I'm finally able to sit here without fear. I don't recognize the person I was before. There's a strength in me now that I didn't know I had.
I'm ready for whatever comes next.
The sunset is beautiful tonight.
Everything feels right for the first time in a long time.
I'm finally at peace. The stars are so bright out here. It's so quiet. You can hear yourself think. I'm just grateful to be here. There's so much I want to do with this place. I want to keep it just the way it is. It's going to be a new chapter for all of us.
I'm finally home. The past is behind me now.
I'm ready for whatever comes next. The forest is finally starting to heal. It's amazing how quickly nature finds a way to move on. My grandfather built this wall a long time ago. It's seen so much history, and it's still standing strong. I haven't been to this meadow in years. It's like a little secret garden hidden away from everything.
I can finally just breathe.
Everything feels right for the first time in a long time. Writing it all down helps me make sense of everything. It's like I'm finally finding my own voice again. The light is changing so fast. It's beautiful how the landscape shifts with the sun. I'm tired, but it's a good kind of tired. I feel like I've really accomplished something today. That sound is so haunting. It makes me feel like I'm really part of this place again.
The cabin looks so welcoming.
I'm ready to just go inside and rest. I'm finally home. I'm ready for whatever comes next. I sit by the fire, holding the deed that almost cost me everything. It's more than just paper. It's my family's history. I finally see what he was really after. I still remember the day I found that pouch in the mud. My hands were shaking so bad I thought I'd drop it. That was the moment everything changed for me. I look at this forged deed and I can see the lie. The watermark is missing, just like he missed the point. He thought he was so smart, but he was just desperate. The forest is finally quiet again. It's hard to believe how much has changed. I'm finally starting to feel like myself again. I remember when we first met. It felt like a dream. It's crazy how someone can hide so much. I don't regret loving him, but I regret trusting him. The court case was a nightmare, but it's over now. Liam is finally where he belongs. I can finally breathe again. The ground feels solid under my feet again. The river is just a whisper in the distance. I finally feel like I belong here. My grandfather built this wall to last. It's still standing, just like us. I can feel the strength in these stones. I don't know what the future holds, but I'm ready. I have my land and I have my strength. I'm not afraid anymore. The wild can break you, or it can show you the truth. I know what I'm made of now.
And that's a truth I'll carry forever. I find myself returning to the riverbank.
The water is quieter now, but the scars remain.
I stand where I once fought for my life. The trees here seem to hold the memory of the storm. I trace the bark of an old oak. It's a testament to endurance. I remember the fear, the way the cold water felt. But looking back, I see the strength I didn't know I had. I was learning how to fight for what was mine. The pouch I found, it was the key to everything. Holding it now, even empty, brings back the rush. It was the proof of betrayal I had to uncover. I think of Liam and the man I thought I knew.
It's hard to reconcile the person I loved.
But the truth is a hard, cold thing. The land is quiet now, but it feels different. It's not just the place I grew up. I'm not the same person who walked these trails before. I look up at the canopy. It's beautiful in a way that feels almost fragile. I've learned that beauty and danger can exist together. I'm ready to move forward. The past is a part of me, but it doesn't define me. I have my land and a future I'm in control of. The river flows on, indifferent to my struggle. But I'm not indifferent. I've learned that the currents of life can lead you home. Survival is just the beginning. The real journey is in what you do with the time you've been given. I'm going to make sure this legacy is protected. I stand on the ridge overlooking the valley. It's a vantage point that offers a clear view of the land I fought so hard to keep. The silence of the forest is no longer heavy, but peaceful. My fingers trace the silver locket at my neck. It's not just property. It's a legacy that survived the worst of times. I feel a sense of belonging that I haven't felt in years. I walk down the trail, my boots crunching on the dry leaves. The forest is waking up, the birds singing in the canopy above. It's a reminder that life always finds a way to move forward. I reach the old spring, the water bubbling up from the earth. It's clear and cold, a symbol of the purity I've fought to protect. I cup my hands and take a drink, the taste familiar and grounding. I sit by the spring, watching the water flow away into the stream. It's a cycle, a constant movement that mirrors my own journey. I've learned that you can't hold on to the past, but you can carry its lessons with you. The sun is starting to set, casting long shadows across the forest floor. It's time to head back to the cabin. I feel a sense of peace, knowing that I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. I reach the cabin, its familiar silhouette standing against the darkening sky. It's a place of memories, of family, and now of a new beginning. I unlock the door and step inside, the air cool and quiet. I light a candle, the flame flickering in the dim light. It's a small, simple act, but it feels like a ritual of sorts. A way to honor the past while embracing the future. I sit by the window, looking out at the forest. The stars are beginning to appear, a vast, silent expanse above. I feel small, but in a way that's comforting, a reminder of the bigger picture. I close my eyes, the silence of the cabin wrapping around me. I'm home. And for the first time in a long time, I'm truly at peace with everything that has happened.